I think it was a VMate. I've had my time with Ghana as intermedia. I was printing, and I used to sponsor a lot of events. So many of the students knew me as I was schooling, and that actually brought me to get to know more people because I was one of the best graphic designers.
Okay.
And of course, CEOs of big companies would like to know and meet the person who is designing, and CEO will tell you, I want to achieve this from this artwork. So I got access to meet MDs of so many different companies through advertising.
But on school, you were on campus then.
Yeah.
So how did you raise the capital to start a business?
It was my cousin in Korea from whom I got the equipment. And I was looking for an office space to start. I didn't have money. So one day I had a dream. I was busy looking for a space, and I had a dream. God showed me a place. And on that day, my father told me there is a Korean captain who is married to a Ghanaian woman, and he has a house office next to which is not used. Why don't you go and have a look? It happened to be a shaman. When he told me it's a shaman, I said, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. He said, no, just go and have a look.
Why? Because a shaman had a...
you know, I mean, come on, advertising, your office is a shaman.
It's not far from the city.
So I went to a shaman, and you know what? God is wonderful.
You just love the place.
No, it was exactly the same as to what I saw in my dream. And I said, this is the place. So my very first workplace was in a Shama. I'm a Shama boy before I became a boy, and now a crap boy.
So on campus, you employed other people to work with you?
I actually employed my own friends and my seniors.
And they didn't interfere with your studies?
Well, it actually did. It actually did. But I actually hired my seniors, those who did masters.
Okay.
And those who did. So at one point, when the year I was graduating, I had a total of 15 workforce, out of which 8 were my mates and seniors from Legon. And of course, it affected my studies. And, you know, I'm so sorry, but I did what I had to do, called chew and po.
Okay.
So I always was able to pass, just, you know. So yes, it did affect, but I never regretted starting business.
So the decision to sponsor, for example, the Ghana Music Awards and the likes, was it to give your company that visibility, or you just wanted to be part of what society was talking about? To
be honest, there was not much business. The biggest business I had since I started in 1999 was the year 2000. There was election. And still in the year 2000, people were, you know, painting billboards. And I think it was between President, you know, Kufuor and Mills.
The late Mills.
The late Mills. And party supporters, you know, they come, you know, with their faces. I printed thousands of their faces, you know. That was one business that I started in Ghana. Of course, many of them didn't come back to pay, which means I've never, you know, voluntarily supported the parties, but indirectly I've supported both parties in so many different ways. And so, because I wasn't busy, when an opportunity comes like that, it's a good time to promote my business.
Okay.
So all I did was to print the backdrops, the banners, the billboards. Yeah.
And is this business so on?
No, in 2002, I had a feeling that I had to move on because I'm very spiritual. I pray a lot, and I had a feeling that it's time to move on. And I called all my colleagues and told them that in the next 6 months, I have a feeling that I'm going to move on. So you have to manage this business yourself. And in the 6 months, I moved to campus. This time I started the biggest internet cafe. Okay. It was called Speedstar. Speedstar. It was internet cafe. I served both Commonwealth Hall and the Central Cafeteria. But you see, God is so wonderful. When I was at Billboard, I was into advertising. I used to visit Scancom, Spacephone.
Yeah, formerly.
Now MTN.
Yeah, now MTN.
Begging for business. Because my machine was smaller, they wouldn't give the business to me, and because I was from my shaman, they wouldn't give the business to me. They were all importing the prints from South Africa. Okay. But I used to go there every week just to show my commitment and my desire. I've done that for 2 years without a single job. Now that I've moved on to something different, the data business on campus, I happened to have visited MTN after a while, and they were quite in shock because a guy who used to come every week hasn't appeared in like 6 months. And they said, "What do you do now?" I say, "I'm into this on campus." And they said, "Then I have a business for you." So they gave me payphone booths.
Okay.
If you remember that back in the days, mobile phone rates, the tariffs are very expensive.
Right.
So especially students go only.
And it was actually hard to come by a mobile phone at that time too.
No, but of course initially, but after a while, everybody used that as a beeper. And the reason why that happened was it was totally impossible for Ghana Telecom to connect to Space Phone and vice versa.
Okay.
So everybody had to move on to mobile phones, and the rate that I was charging the students was about 1/3 of how much was officially being charged.
Okay.
So the payphone booth that came to me was a blessing, because I had students queuing for about 20 meters every day to make the affordable calls. And through that payphone business, I actually got into MTN authorized distributorship.
I mean, I'm asking all of these questions because, I mean, at that time and at that age and still pursuing degree, and you decided that, no, I want to add value to myself. I want to do other things to bring in the revenue. Not a lot of people do that, especially when they are at that stage of their life. And so I wonder, is it because you had parents who would push you to the limit, or you had your own ideas that you were willing, regardless of the risks, to pursue?
I disagree with you in a way by saying that when you travel to Norway, Sweden, Scandinavian countries, you know how they are? They are quite laid back. I don't see any urgency in them.
Okay.
I don't see any sense of entrepreneurship in them, because government basically sponsors everything for them. Ghana is a home of entrepreneurs. There are so many people of my kind. For me, is the lack of resource, that people aren't able to pursue what they dream. I was lucky because I had a cousin who was already into that business, from whom that I was able to convince to send the printing equipment, which I started. But I can bet you that Ghana has the best of the best entrepreneurs. When we actually support them and give them the best platform, I can bet you that we'll have very, very, very powerful businessmen from
So clearly the ideas may be there, but what may be challenges and resources to have it take off from the ground?
Because you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to try, and you're allowed to fail. You're allowed to try again, and you're allowed to fail again. And as you're trying and then failing, you get something that you can hold on to. But we don't have many chances, and we are not given that opportunity. The one chance that you have is like the only opportunity.
But personally, I mean, since being in the business environment, you think the environment is conducive for startups to grow?
No.